Hi. Hello.
That's a cold open.
It's Thursday. Hold on. Hey, guys, it's Thursday. Welcome to... I always wanted to do that.
That's good.
So we're not doing a normal episode of This Is Only a Test this week. We're doing something new and different and maybe fun. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm going to start on my right. Dave Snider is here. I'm Will Smith.
That's me.
Dave Snider.
I'm Dave. I'm the Dave.
Whiskey Media.
I used to build your website.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It's a good
That was
intro.
good times. Yeah. On my left, the ineffable Jeff Green.
Hi.
On his left, the black T-shirt wearing Vinny Caravella.
Always. Black t-shirt taught a lot of stains.
Oh, wait.
White t-shirt
Is that
Dave.
my enemy?
Nice. No, yeah, no.
You're on
yeah.
opposite
right.
sides, so.
Yeah.
So we all have one thing in common. Well, two things in common.
I'm close.
You're almost there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, by the way. I outed you by
it's
accident.
fine.
But
no, it's...
so we're all dads, or soon to be dads.
At least one thing in common.
At least one.
At least one.
At least one
Maybe
thing.
more.
I think we all
maybe,
like
but-
video games.
like video games.
Yeah.
And
we all like,
let's stick with the kid
burritos?
thing.
Do we all like burritos?
Yeah, burritos
Sure,
are pretty
okay.
good.
Yeah, burritos are good. I like
See?
burritos.
All right.
We're all wearing shoes.
Oh.
Shoes are good.
Burrito cast.
Burrito
Shoe
cast.
cast, not good.
Okay, let's skip the dad cast
Yeah.
and go straight. So we were talking about this on, like, you and Gary tried to scare the hell out of me
Tried.
on Oktobercast
Kind
last
of
year.
unintentionally. I think Gary and I were both a little. We were so green back then. We were just Vietnam. Fuck, man, don't go in. Don't go in. Just stab yourself in the leg. Just get out.
I got flat feet, man.
Yeah,
I
do whatever you
I'm
can.
not qualified.
Canada's good. Canada, you can hide from having a baby in Canada.
Gary must have been brand new, right? I mean,
Gary was
Yeah,
4
Gary
months
was-
in, yeah. So he
4
was
months
just
in.
kind of getting out of the woods, maybe.
He had not slept yet, probably.
Well, and then he had to leave like 3/4 of the way through because the baby had an ear infection. So like that's
Yeah.
the full dad experience right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But now you're in.
I'm in
Yeah, all in.
January 18th. Have baby girl. So you have a baby boy.
Baby boy.
Almost a year.
Almost here, 11 months.
Jeff, you have a baby girl.
Baby girl of 19, 19 years.
Okay.
How many months is that?
Yeah.
That's so you
I'm counting months till tuition ends. That's what I'm on the other end.
Nice.
and Dave, you have
I have a negative 1 year old.
You have a negative 1 year
Negative
old.
1 month year old. It's like a imaginary number.
So you're in the point now where your wife is starting to transition from, hey, this is a pretty cool magical thing that's happening to my body, to, oh fuck, get this out of me.
She's kind of been all right.
She's
Yeah,
not there
see, that's
yet.
Fine.
All right.
She's
Give it a week or two.
Yeah, no. I don't know. She didn't have any morning sickness, none of that normal crazy stuff. So
Have you had to
she's been
tie her
kind of a trooper.
shoelaces?
No, she wears flats.
Nice.
Yeah,
Most of the
there you
time.
go.
Smart.
Yeah,
Good
and
move.
she's a dress wearer, so
Oh, man.
Nice.
like almost anything works.
Yeah, it's just
She's
she probably
doing
hasn't even
all right.
changed clothes that much.
Yeah.
Just higher hemlines.
No, it's been fine. We go do the hospital tour though today. Which
Oh.
Hospital tour.
yeah. This is crazy thing.
We can
I
talk
guess
about
you-
this hospital tour. Yeah, I did that.
I
you
did
walk
that.
in. Is it like walking into a dungeon? Do you see like chain? No.
They're
There's
super
people
nice.
screaming.
Yeah, that's right. And they shut the door and they smile and they're like, it's
Don't-
so
don't
beautiful.
look in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, mom's in agony.
So when they do the tour,
Mm-hmm.
which hospital are you going to?
UCSF.
Okay. Are you locked in on UCSF now?
Yeah. So the weird thing, of course, is we lived in the city.
Yeah.
And then in between that time, we moved an hour and 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
To Petaluma.
Yeah.
But
oh,
of course,
wow. I forgot you. Yeah, I was thinking Sausalito, but
Yeah.
you've taken it further.
Oh yeah, no, but of course we have that fear of all like recently moved out to the country dwellers. Of
That's right.
Like, there must not be good medicine here,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So you then you say, all right, yeah, no, we'll keep our schedule with
When you already have the
city.
doctor and all that stuff, so you don't want to change that at the last minute.
You worry about that Petaluma vet coming in and being like, oh, a human.
A human.
Yeah.
I guess I could do it.
Right. Kind of the same. Where are
The same parts.
How many in a typical litter?
I'm sorry, no gills. Sorry to inform you, Mr. Schneider.
So you're not doing any midwifery stuff.
No, there's no hippie,
no
no
hippie
hippie
stuff.
stuff, no water births. Just like it's very, it's
When
largely based on like
Not
science.
to judge,
Not to judge.
Yeah, not to judge.
All right,
No,
whatever.
you haven't done prenatal yoga, anything like that.
Okay, she did do some prenatal yoga.
Zero G birth.
I wasn't involved. I wasn't there.
Real
but
medical
yeah.
benefits to that. You get all limbered up.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Makes sense to me.
You told me you did the, you went to the...
Oh, I went to a big, huge, giant like seminar class.
Yeah, you told me-
which I thought was going to be like an 8-person, like 8-couple class
Yeah.
or something. Then I go a week before I show up. They're like, "Hey, just to let everybody know, there's going to be some cameras." We get there. There's like 100 couples
So were you in a lecture hall or something?
Yes, we were in like this giant.
The pull-up arms that fold down?
Weird. It's kind of like a sci-fi
No,
movie.
it was pretty wild. And then it was this woman who very much was like selling her like system.
She have like a Madonna mic on.
Didn't have the Madonna mic, but was all mic'd up, and there were probably 4 cameras in the room. It was weird.
Oh, I know how many there were. That's my
Yeah.
side gig.
yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm moonlighting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Vinny Caravella, birth videographer.
But you told me you did the ice cube thing, which I had to do
yeah.
too.
What?
which is
Wait, what?
What is that?
They make the dad hold the ice cube in your hand, right?
To simulate pain.
Simulate pain, and then they make you do it again with somebody else like holding your hand and breathing with you
wow.
to be like, look
I
how
didn't
much
have to do
longer
that.
you can hold it.
And
But of
both
course,
had-
all the guys are like, fuck, I could do this forever.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
Birthday nothing.
These bitches whining about it.
It's a cock size contest.
Totally.
We didn't do that. My lady that did the birth class was like a kind of crazy person. Like her email address had doula in it.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So yeah,
yeah.
at Yahoo even. So she was like, you could tell, highly technical.
Did you get all your questions from answers from Yahoo Answers?
Pretty much, yeah. She was like, "There's this great website called
She has a-
Yahoo Answers. You should check it out." Man.
She has a dog walking business like, on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we sat down, and the problem with the childbirth class that we took was that like they didn't have there was no AP version of that. So like
Yeah.
you kind of like you're in there with a much broader spectrum of humanity that I'm usually kind of, and it's good because everybody was involved and all that. But there was a lot of repetition, and it was like
Some didn't
4
know how
hours
they got
per-
pregnant.
Yeah,
Probably, you know?
yeah. And there were some that were like 2 weeks from due, and it was a 4-week class, and you're like, we're probably not going to see you again. We'll just hit the high points with you this week.
So the funniest part in ours was that they had an actual couple who had just recently given birth come in.
Oh.
So like 3 weeks after.
Yeah.
So the woman was just exhausted.
Nice.
And basically I felt like kind of super personal. Like, oh man, this was horrible. This was bad. And I was like, like it was like a weird scare tactic. It was like they brought a prisoner in to scare you straight.
when you were like a senior in high
do it.
school.
Yeah.
So
I could tell you guys, my wife went into labor in childbirth class.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Because
That's-
our
that's
daughter was 5 weeks early.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So wait, was
And-
everybody like start taking notes?
Well, here's the worst thing that I was not there. It was like the one class.
Dad of the year.
So it's so it's lifetime of guilt because
yeah.
I was actually writing an article for the magazine I worked on at the time, and I had a deadline the next.
So not
day.
only is there the beginning of that class where everybody else is with their couple, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh wait, no,
She's
my
by
husband's
herself.
away. You know, don't worry, it's
Yeah.
cool. Get past that whole part and then actually go into labor.
Everybody's judging her already.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
They're judging our man, your husband. What a
Right.
dick.
Sorry about that. I mean, I'm sure it'll work out though.
Yeah.
right. Is there someone we should call?
So was it at the hospital at least? Did she have to go far? Or did she have
Well,
to drive
they
herself
brought her.
someplace?
They brought her home to me.
Okay.
Early, like another couple with her, like in their arms. And like,
wow.
You got to take her to the hospital now. And I was like, is this like part of the class? Is this
Right,
like
right.
A,
This is
a
a-
drill, surprise drill.
Wow.
I was not, like I was still in denial. Like we were driving to the hospital and I looked at the gas tank and I was like, shit, we should like get gas. Like it's low. She's like, you gotta take me right now. I'm not having the baby at Exxon, asshole.
So
But when the tank gets low, this crap gets in the
Yeah.
engine. What do you?
like if we go uphill, it'll be real bad for the car.
You can deal.
See,
Relax.
we had to be induced because Gina's blood pressure was high. So it wasn't like bad high, but it was high enough that they were like, well, what do you think about induction? And like, okay, that's if you think it's medically necessary. It's like, well, so what are you guys doing tonight? And we're like, wait, what?
Wow.
So Gina sent me a text and was like, and I was like, this is not really appropriate information to convey via text. Hey, we're going to go have the baby tonight. What are you doing at 10 o'clock? It's like, well, wait, what? So we didn't get the high-speed drive through the city or any of that. We just had to take a normal, like, it was just like driving to the doctor, but at 10 o'clock. It's weird to go to the doctor at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, did you guys have the moment of when you were leaving the hospital of like, I can't believe they're letting us leave?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Like this. I had to go through more to get a driver's license, all this other
Yeah.
stuff, and like, you sure?
It's like you're
we're
not gonna,
cool, right?
You're not going
Yeah.
to make sure she's in the seat right or any of that.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy. They just let you leave.
And it was like, carrying this thing that just has been so fragile in the hospital, right? And it's just like, when I take it outside, does the skin just turn to leather and
Right.
kind of just like, the air hits it? And I don't know what happens.
So I'm worried that I've got that long commute back.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm
that's a
more
long.
worried
And you got to
that
drive on
it'll
the
be-
freeway too.
Yeah.
That's
so it'll be
scary.
like a good hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, man.
On the way home.
So, yeah, you also need to
Panic
make sure you
attack.
pack well because
Yeah.
you're not going to want to take the drive back
Yeah.
at some point.
You're just gonna stay there.
We
Yeah, it's true.
So we did I did the no freeways drive back, and we were going like I was you know how like. Not that I advocate this, but you know how maybe if you've had a cocktail too many and you're trying to make and you go really, really slow to
Nope.
Sure.
overcompensate. No, it's not something
Nope.
you should do. I'm not saying I've done
Yeah.
it, but it's something I've heard people do.
Yeah, I've seen it on television.
Yeah, I saw it in the movie Black Sheep with
Okay.
Chris Farley and David Spade.
Right. Something
That was the specific reference I was going for.
Sure.
Thanks,
Sad
Dave.
you
Yeah.
could just pull that one right out. That's
I think they were huffing nitrous, to be clear. But anyway, the upshot is I was going like 15 miles an hour down a 60-mile-an-hour road
on the way back.
on the way back and was like constantly like corner of the eye, head on a swivel the whole time. And Gina's in the back alternately like giggling and laughing and then occasionally crying. And it's just like the whole range of emotions.
Right.
And it's like a 45-minute drive, normally maybe 26 at the outside. And yeah, it was. But the whole time we were thinking, nobody even checked to make sure we had the kid in the car seat right.
Right.
It's
Nobody
freaky.
told us how to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right. So
And yeah, and it was just kind of like it's like you guys all played Fallout, right? The new Fallout. It's that scene where you come out of the vault and it's just all white, right?
Yeah.
Like they kind of like they leave you at the door and like the nurse is like, all right, later.
see you later.
Later,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like I can't leave the temple. Like you need to go out into the world, and then those doors open, and you just kind of go outside. And it was part of like scared, and then part of like, oh, that's right. This is the rest of my life. Like
Yeah, right.
we just my life is now altered.
Right. I was going to ask you guys that too. When I was coming over here, I was thinking like, did you guys hit that moment of realizing
It was kind
your
of
life
that moment.
is different forever?
Yeah, it was like there's no backsies. Like
Right.
here we go.
Yeah, it's funny because every like parent says that to people who aren't parents, and they don't really get it, right? You go like, yeah, my life's gonna be different, but then when it happens, it's like, oh fuck, it really is.
well, I was looking at that
You're
sign
like a
on the
dad
way
forever.
on the way out of the hospital. That's like, this is a safe place to leave your child. It's like, oh, so that's what happens if it doesn't. Wait, no. And I'm going to go and tell you, it's not a good joke to make.
No, I'm sure.
Wives
Yeah.
doesn't go well.
Just kind of like
It's the bomb
Right.
in the airport.
Yeah.
joke.
yeah, no, it's not a good thing to say. So
I had that second win though. That second like, oh right, rest of my life. About 3 or 4 months in, we kind of had a really tough first 3 months. To the point, and I don't know if every new dad, like maybe Will, you can speak to this. If every new parent thinks they are having the most exceptional tough time, that's
Yeah.
just like just to my wife, like this can't be normal.
Oh
This-
yeah.
we've had it pretty
this,
easy.
This is crazy.
Except for my
yeah.
appetectomy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Aside from the fact I haven't been
Yeah.
able to do anything for the last 3 weeks.
That's right. Because you were back in the
Yeah,
hospital.
'cause that I was in the hospital for like 3 nights. It wasn't. I mean, she's been pretty easy.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So, like, we did there's some stuff we should talk like this. The stuff that nobody told us coming in is like the feeding thing. When you're in the hospital, get the lactation. If you're going to try to breastfeed, get the lactation people to come
Heard this
and
many
watch.
times.
Like this is. Because the thing is, the nurses are all like the first day nurses. This is something they do in big hospitals, Joe. They send in the raw nurses on the first night, like the first day. So you get like a nurse that's like, "Oh, you guys are doing a wonderful job. Look at that. Oh, it's a fantastic latch. Blah 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 blah." Whole thing, and then
They like putting up scorecards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have that whiteboard that's just like, yep.
yeah, and it's like all gentle, positive reinforcement. And then on the last day you're there, they give you like the Eastern European nurse who's kind of like all. If you do that to your child, you're going to have to do it every time she goes to sleep for the next 3 years. And I'm like, I'm not touching the child. I'm going to back away slowly. So yeah, talk to the lactation. Like
We had
talk
like
to the,
3 or something have to come in.
oh really?
Oh, yeah.
3 lactation people.
Yeah, like they did breastfeeding, man.
Like a
It
Total Recall
seems
thing?
so
Like,
easy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, it was just like kind of like checking that latch and making sure everything was okay, and like it was like it wasn't perfect, so it was kind of like those first couple of days, you want to make sure the kid's getting fed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we had the problem where like lactation nurses kept coming to me like, thumbs up, you guys are great. You're the best parents in the world. Here's your mug. And then we get home and like, this is terrible. This is one of the greatest shames of my life. And it's not like kind of not even our fault. Kind of is our fault. Get home and like our son's just super screaming. And we're like, what the fuck? This sucks. This just sucks. And like, but you know, we're also like, oh, newborn. Like, here we go. We're new parents. Like, of course it sucked. It's over. And then at some point we're like, no, this really sucks. Like this.
So we did the exact same thing. Was he just not getting food?
He wasn't getting enough food.
Same fucking thing.
Yeah. And at some point we were just like, we luckily, and this was cool, and then and Dave, I don't know if you'll have this, but I recommend it. We had a nurse come, a follow-up visit, like only a couple of days later. That was like, nurse came in and was like, yeah, maybe he's not getting enough food. And we're like, oh my God, we're starving our kid?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? We're starving. Wait, don't call anybody. Like, we'll figure this out. And so that was me running out to the Babies R Us, which I had avoided the entire time. Because I think I'd stepped foot in there once, and it's just like just a nightmare. And Vinny and Baby R Us bottles and formula, I don't know. This one's got DHEA. This one's like iron free. I don't know, lactose. This one's made of worms. Like I'll just get them all. Probably had like $700 worth of breast pumps, everything. Just give me everything, anything that can get food into a child.
Was Jessica Alba's picture on like any of them?
Yeah, she's on the Honest Diapers.
Really?
I think that's her.
Wait, really?
Is it Jessica Alba?
I think
it is.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
use
that
those.
Honest stuff is Jessica Alba. Oh, I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Gina snuck that into the house.
They're good.
She's never let me. Those diapers are real leaky. Diapers are a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
That's a whole-
I like them. But yeah, so anyway,
Okay, yeah,
I came in with like a bag, and it was just the first day we because whole other conversation too. The whole formula breastfeeding kind of like crazy.
That shit makes you
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, crazy mentality is
Lots of judgment attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just like, all right, we're gonna make a bottle of formula. Are you ready to change the world? And then, you know,
But
and
suddenly it's not going to Ivy League college.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
because you're like 8 IQ points. That's huge.
Right. And like, and then he was like, fine. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was super hungry
Yep.
and like slept, and that was it. So
Well,
it felt terrible because
We did that for 2 weeks
yeah, it's
because
you don't know, right?
nobody said,
Yeah.
well, maybe, and then like once we got everything going and started doing the. So the thing that we ended up doing was the feeding, pumping, bottle supplementation.
Yeah.
Which is about a maybe 45-minute to 90-minute process every time, and you do
Yeah.
it every 3 hours cycle. So like the thing that I found is that if you want to break someone,
Yeah.
then you give them something that takes about 90 minutes to do and make them do it every 3 hours. around
yeah,
the
how's
clock.
Gina doing? Because Jessie was just she was
Like when the baby
Frazzled.
switched from eating every 3 hours to every 4 hours at night, it was a substantial lifestyle improvement. Because
Yeah.
the difference between 45 minutes of sleep and an hour and a half of sleep was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the feeding thing, so the thing about the formula is as long as you're feeding the thing that we've talked to a couple of different lactation consultants, which is a real weird job title, just to be clear.
When you're young, do you dream of that as a profession?
Well, I mean,
I'm sure some people
Right.
do.
well, right. Like there's
We're thinking about breasts. Right? I mean, there's that part.
you squeeze and there's like gentle massaging.
but there's kind of nothing quite like this whole experience to knock the novelty off of breasts and nipples, like having a kid
Yeah, it
and
kinda
having to
does.
like
They're out all the time.
it's
Total exposure.
I have seen more breasts and I have seen a lot of porn in like the last like the first 3 months of the kid being born.
Yeah.
All different types to go on the
Right.
internet. It's just inverted nipples, nipple this, nipple shields, this, lactation consultants, just to be like, fuck it. I don't even
Kind of curious with like the modern, childbirth stuff. Like, were you on YouTube a lot?
No, I tried only
Just like weirdly, it's like such an instructional place these days.
only for
I'm kinda
swaddling.
curious.
That's where I went.
Yeah.
I had to look up.
I got a
couple
book for swaddling.
Yeah,
A
that's
whole
it.
book?
A book. A whole book.
Swaddling?
On swaddling. It's like 55 different folds.
Swaddling?
Because here's
Was
the
one
thing.
of them like a paper airplane?
That'd be fantastic. It's a little boat. You put the baby in, she floats down the river. It's like Moses.
See you later, kid. Good luck.
The thing about the swaddling is, like the swaddle that we learned in the class and the swaddle they show you at the hospital relies on a certain size thing. But Gina got these fancy swaddles that are like 3 times bigger, and you have leftover stuff, and then the baby kind of lists to port or starboard depending on. So we had to figure out different swaddles, and when I suggested that maybe we bought the wrong receiving blankets, then that was real bad. So
They made this shit overly complicated.
Yeah.
They did not need this shit. 100 years ago.
No,
right?
just
Don't
duct
they have
tape.
Velcro?
Lactation expert.
So the Velcro thing's the way to go.
People
Yeah.
gave had
the bag
birth.
with the bondage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put them in that.
Great.
It's 2 seconds.
So yeah, like
Did you hear that, Nicole?
it is definitely now. Yeah. Well, I think it's a lot, and this is like kind of philosophical, but I think it's a lot of like the way we live now, right? Like my family is all on the East Coast, right? So I don't have my mom out here to be like,
Right.
yo, dude, relax.
Right.
Or even just hold the baby for 30 minutes.
Yeah, or like you're doing, like
Yeah.
the baby's hungry. Like I have a lifetime's worth of experience. I had 3 boys. Trust me, the baby's hungry.
Yeah.
So we had none of that. And like, when you're on the phone, the last thing you want to hear is your mom being like, "Did you feed the baby? I told them the baby's hungry. They're not listening, Tony. They're not listening. Baby's probably hungry." Yeah. Hey, guess what? Hey, Jesse, my mom says the baby's probably hungry. Like, tell your mom to suck a dick. It's pretty much like, the last thing she wants. So like, but I'm sure if my mom were there, she just would snuck her a bottle or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we don't really have like wet nurses and stuff like that anymore.
Oh, you don't?
I tried.
Oh.
me personally.
Well,
but they
I mean,
wouldn't take me.
Yourself.
The baby truck comes around once a day, and you just,
But you can I guess we looked it up because I think like Will was saying it's like a little more complicated than just like have baby attached to breast. Sometimes it is that easy, but
Yeah.
it can be. And then it's if you have that expectation that it's that easy for some people, it can be really frustrating when it's not.
Yeah.
But you can get breast milk like on demand. We looked up all of this stuff of.
you're not allowed to sell human tissue in California,
Wait a minute, you could buy other people's breast
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole.
They're big producers out there.
It's kind of
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it is a
Who
little weird.
dreamed of that job?
It's like buying weed, though, because like I said, it's illegal. You got to go, there's
Yeah.
a thing on Craigslist.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
Is it one of those work at home things? Like, be at home and earn
Yeah.
money?
That's right. My friend's
pumping your
mom made
breast milk?
$800,000 a week. Tiny classified ads and breast milk. But yeah, that stuff that was really frustrating, and I felt super bad that I thought for a day or maybe even a week that you're just like
2 weeks, dude.
Oh God, what did I do? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forget
I remember
calculus.
we called our daughter was super colicky, and so she basically cried all the time for basically 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So we had a really rough time. In fact, we've moved since, but at the house we were at when we had Sarah, I punched a hole in the garage door with my fist at like 3 a.m. one time. I'm not that big of a guy. I mean,
Wow.
that's how angry I was because we hadn't slept.
Yeah,
you know.
it really.
And you don't want to obviously yell at this poor innocent little
No.
baby. You don't want to yell at your spouse. So I just went outside it and just,
Yeah.
Hulk smash.
yeah, Hulk smash. But so during this time, at one point, I called a doctor, because I was like, it was like what you said, like it was like we thought something was wrong, horribly wrong, or this was like the worst thing that's ever
yeah.
happened to any parents ever. And this I got his answering machine, and I was just like, you've got to call us back. Like we can't, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And this is true story. The guy, when he called me back, he told me this on the phone. He had driven off the freeway. He was on his way to play golf. Like seriously, it was like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And he was mad when I told him what was up. He was like, "You made me get off the freeway on the way to a golf game because your baby's crying." Seriously?
Well, but I mean, the thing that you said, the thing that woke me up to the fact that my life had changed forever was when I was on IM with you, and you're like, "Yeah, this is the way it is forever and ever." And I realized that probably 2 months before I would have naturally.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
thanks, Vinny.
Yeah.
But it's that the crying. Over time, it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and it's the not being able to get the 3 minutes away. Like sometimes just saying, "Hey, honey, hold the baby. I'm going to go for a walk."
Oh yeah.
It's real good. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a smart thing to do.
That was our system.
Write that one down. Yeah.
Yeah, we would spot each other the time.
Yeah.
Like, just go out for 20 minutes, and it really did make a difference.
And the one thing that the crazy lady who taught the childbirth class, like our childbirth class, because we had weird, it was unusually fast. The childbirth class was mostly useless, except the lady said, "Hey, make sure that you get whoever's the primary caregiver, it's mom or dad on any given day. Make sure that the other person, as much as you can, carves like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So even if it's just like go take a shower." Like you can just be human for a really short. Like it makes a huge difference.
I'm getting ready to prep food.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like prepping just large amounts of like
Freeze,
frozen. Yeah.
Make some lasagna. Make sure you can put
Yeah,
in
pulling out all my Italian
burgers.
beans. Just like pasta sauce.
shepherd's pie is
all over
good.
the place. Yeah.
soup.
I mean, the thing is, like, this part is specific to them not talking yet. Like, because that's really the frustration. Is
I don't
like,
even want to think about what happens when they can talk.
No, but it's actually, I mean, some of it, in some ways it continues to get worse. but in some ways it gets better because at least now, like, reason and words are involved. When they're just crying and you don't know what the fuck's going on, it's like, what do you want? I've given you everything.
There's nothing more I can do for
Well, it's
you.
only like
Right.
4 things, right? It's they pooped.
Right.
They're hungry. They have to poop. Maybe they're about to throw up.
I don't know.
They're sleepy.
I think that has changed. I think that
it's
changed
gotten harder?
for me at like 6 or 7 months when
Oh.
there's like it has turned into there's kind of like response, right? Like I want attention. Like I'm just gonna.
Sure.
I know that I can. Like
Yes.
my son's now. He's at the point where he'll drop stuff and kind of be
Yep.
like that smile, right? That's just like you gonna pick it up, fucker.
I know you'll do it.
Yeah, I'll sit here all day.
Yeah.
All right, put it back. Thanks. Boom.
Yeah, that's a classic thing. They learn that they can, like, cough from another room.
Yep.
If you've got him in the crib in the
Yeah.
other room, fuck you. I know you're not sick.
Yeah.
I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, so like that's the part now where it's like, because it was like that at first.
Yeah.
We were just like, all right, poop, sleep, or eating, right? And now it's like, no, you just want to be held, but you want to be put down. No, pick you up, put you down.
Yeah.
What do you want?
The thing she does is it's like she is like the princess in the pea. But if it's like if there's the tiniest drop of pee in that diaper, man, it is full alarm.
Really?
That's
It's
probably
amazing.
good though.
That probably is good.
Yeah, because you'll get out of diapers probably pretty quickly.
Because what happens is she goes in and out. Like she'll pee a little tiny bit, and then you'll change the diaper, and then the cold air hits. You get her button back up, and then boom, blue stripe again.
Oh, so you have the blue stripes?
Yeah, the blue stripe's a huge advantage.
They had those at the hospital. And I
Wait,
thought
what
those
is that?
There's like the Huggies, right, or Pampers?
Pampers and Huggies both, but the hippie diapers don't have it.
Yeah, the hippie diapers don't, and we have the hippie diapers.
Yeah.
It's like a wet strip that just like turns blue if the diaper gets wet.
You know how on
Also
like Nazi
high-tech
pad
now.
ads,
So I'm
yellow
a-
and blue makes green.
I'm a bad person. I've like specifically not brought up the hippie diaper in the hope that then the blue diaper just comes into play and is the norm.
So we went through the whole diaper thing, and we initially looked at like we didn't actually try the hippie diapers because we thought, oh, we'll do the cloth diapers with the pads,
Yep.
and then both of us kind of independently went to YouTube and saw how you clean the cloth diapers and like plunging it out in the toilet and all
Scrape
that
and poop.
and we never talked about the cloth diapers again after that,
Yeah.
so that was good. But then we went to the low landfill diapers, which. Well, so our baby was a little small, and even the newborn size. So first off, buy a bunch of newborn diapers because you need the newborn diapers. The size 1 is way too big when they first come home from the hospital. Horrible accidents. But the hippie diapers they're not like double baffled around the legs and the back. So what happened was when we were trying those, then basically the poop and the pee would escape the diaper and you'd end up washing the clothes like 5 times as much.
Oh, so you're saying you were using more energy and
We were running the washing
right.
machine a ton.
yeah.
But yeah, the like she'll wear an outfit for 2 days now.
Oh,
Because we
nice.
don't have blowouts.
Nice.
Yeah,
we
so-
never had blowouts.
Well, that
I learned a new
Lucky.
word. I learned a new word, and I was able to play it in the letterpress. Gussets.
the things around the edges of the diaper.
Yeah, it's those little like frills that fall out
I
of.
never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bloomers have
And
them too.
letterpress takes that, huh?
Yep. It totally
Alright.
took it. I think I won a game on gussets.
Weird words.
We got some gaming tips in there.
Yeah, there you go.
No time for games. No time for games.
So flexibility, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of big thing I think
Yeah.
that I realized on my first kid was this is just not gonna go any way like we thought at all. You know,
But so like you thought you were gonna come home and the baby'd be wearing a little bonnet and you'd be like, "Oh, baby, lay down."
yeah, it
have a
smells
nice
like
sleep."
roses and like well, because like you guys said like you're even the getting up to the birth part was totally unexpected, right? And you have your little plan, you're probably your little bag, and you're like,
Yeah.
this will be great.
Give the nurses
We
the
had
plan and let them laugh and then move on.
Yeah, we had a baby in our house like a month before we were ready.
Right.
Like all of a sudden
Yeah.
we were home with this thing. Like, fuck.
Yeah, and
Did you have to go buy like massive runs to
We
go
didn't
buy
have
gear
anything.
and
We
stuff?
weren't ready.
Yeah.
She slept in a car seat for the first week.
well,
We
that's
didn't
fine.
even have
She's
a crib
safe
yet.
in case
Yeah.
of a
Well, yeah, she
collision.
was fine.
Yeah,
But in the car, I mean.
but the crib, like we don't.
I'm just kidding. Not
So the equipment.
See you tomorrow.
Did you
Good
turn
show,
it off?
Jeff. Thanks. you left it in the garage with the door shut.
Sure, yeah.
She's a little blue, but she's fine.
She goes to sleep faster.
Oh, too soon, man. The stuff
Oh,
you
that's
buy.
right. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that story. That's terrible.
What story?
There was the story of the kid that, and then dad, remember they got in the car on the East Coast?
No, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no,
terrible.
we
I'm
don't-
sorry.
no.
Cut that part out.
Here, I have a practical,
edits.
I have a practical question
Okay.
for you, which is, how did your dog deal with it?
So the dog is a whole different thing because everybody says different shit to do with the dog. After talking to a bunch of people, way too many, what we decided to do was the dog stayed at the place that she stays, the daycare place, while we were in the hospital. And then on the day we came home, I got up early and went and picked her up from there and took her back to the house and played with her and walked her and got her exhausted.
Sure.
And then we brought the baby into her. So we let her have. So the baby was coming into her house, but was introduced. And then we introduced her real gradually. She's been, and you know my dog, she's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. But she's fun. But the good thing about your dog is it's not super big, so it's not like it's going to jump up.
Well, she'll jump
And,
up,
like-
but
She's not going to get that high.
she can get up to your waist.
See, I'm worried my dog's like
You have a
10
bigger
months,
dog, yeah.
and it's 10 months, so it's
Ooh.
like still super like fun.
What kind of dog?
He's a unique piece of joy.
He's a purebred Wellington. That's what we always call those. But no, so we let her sniff, and like she sniffed and licked a little, like did a little lick here and there. We try to avoid that. But like they've been on the floor at the same time together now.
My dog is already trying to jump into the crib.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As like hey, this is a new thing that I can play against. Like anything that's in there, just like trying to get it out.
The big problem we have is that dog toys and like infant toys
the
are
same.
essentially
Oh,
the
yeah.
same. They
I've learned that
they
already.
smell a little
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
Like one smells like meat and the other smells like baby.
Yeah, one's a pelican and the other's.
But the squeaker is the same.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there's a tragedy in the future where like her favorite toy gets nailed by the dog and
And they both
dissect-
put everything in their mouth. Too.
Right.
Yeah,
Dogs
well
and
that's
babies.
fine. The
Yeah.
dog's mouth is
Yeah.
clean. She doesn't eat shit very often anymore.
Your baby won't either too much.
Yeah, too much being the operative. But let's talk the equipment stuff because that's a dark hole you can go down. You can spend a lot of money on shit that doesn't
Baby
matter
gear.
at all.
Yeah.
Like I almost think at this point in the day of Amazon, like just don't buy anything until you need it, and then it'll be there the next day. We didn't buy bottle. We had a couple of bottles just in case.
Yeah.
We didn't take. All the clothes we took to the hospital were dramatically too big. So like
comically big?
yeah, like looked like a baby and
Were they like shark hats though? At least.
yeah. Well, I mean, we had I say lean hard into the animal hats, like the hats with ears and stuff. Yeah, the baby clothes. The baby clothes is a real fun. Like that's the fun. I like buying baby clothes. I never thought I would be into baby clothes, but baby clothes are real silly.
They're pretty goofy. I sometimes I get jealous of baby clothes because like, man, that looks pretty comfy.
I would totally
The
buy
onesies,
like a footed pajama with a big bear on the ass.
I totally would.
yeah.
Or just like things
Maybe
with
not a
rocket
pair.
ships all over it.
Well,
Just
boy clothes are better than girl
a
clothes.
whole suit of rocket ships.
Yeah, we buy boy clothes mostly for our girl because it's yeah.
We have all sort like Max is wearing pink stuff. We just have whatever. Like
Yeah.
people give you stuff all the
Yeah.
time too. And like I think he was for about the first 3 months until he grew out of it. He just had a big pink bonnet on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
sure.
And we
He
were just
can handle that. He's cool
Yeah,
with
'cause
himself.
About a month into it, we were just like, fuck anything that stays on his head that he's not ripping off. I'm totally happy with like socks that stay on, hats that stay
Sure.
on. I don't care. I mean, it's double-sided taped on anyway.
Really, you
That's
tape
not-
it on?
just
Oh
kidding.
God.
There's not like hundreds of black T-shirts like laying around.
No, because this spit up it pretty much turns us into a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Black. Yeah, your black T-shirt. Your choice of T-shirt color is.
I had to
challenging.
Yeah, I had to have a separate set just for him.
I've stopped wearing sweaters entirely.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
That's fine.
Yeah, after the third week of going to the dry cleaners twice, I was like, I'm gonna put the sweaters away for maybe 6 or 8 months and see when the barfing stops.
So the cliche is super true. Like the kids just go burn through clothes in a heartbeat. And it's like week to week to week to week. And Max was just ridiculous. Like he became this mutant, gigantic baby within like 3 months.
It's all that formula you fed him.
Yeah,
Fascist.
yeah. No, I'm trying to raise a basketball team. This
Yeah.
is how I do it. He was in like the 90th percentile in height, and then at some point the doctor was like he's not on the chart anymore. So he's wearing
Is that a nice way of saying like? Is he tall or is
He's tall. He's like a banana baby.
Hey,
Okay.
has he
Yeah.
picked up the car to save Jesse yet?
I totally so he has this dumb zebra, right, that he rolls around.
Yeah.
And he figured out how to tip it up, right? And he was totally tipping it up with one hand looking at me in his Superman shirt. And I totally did take the picture with my phone being like, that's exactly
awesome.
right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he's 11 months now, and I think he's wearing like 2-year-old clothes. And like we were super lucky that we had a lot of family just start sending us boxes of baby clothes because we were dumb.
Yeah, we haven't bought one.
Yeah.
Don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now we have just a closet full of 2 small baby clothes because it's burned through. So.
Yeah. I mean, some stuff gets worn like twice.
Or not at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some socks. I don't even little tiny socks.
Socks are a trap. Socks and pants are bad. I like those things that zip up from the ankle.
Yes.
Like that. The zips.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the zip.
Yeah.
The snaps are also okay because you can diaper without having
Yes.
to totally strip down the baby.
That's very important.
Yeah.
That's very important. Things that open at the bottom are very important.
Yeah.
Or
you want
also
to get to the business end.
also shoes. Do you have any baby shoes?
No baby shoes. You're not supposed to put baby shoes on.
Yeah.
Gina said because they cause them to get deformed feet or something. It's like shoe binding or culturally sensitive stuff.
My
I don't
mom
know.
sent she bought like tiny baby sneakers, and I was like, I can't even get a shirt on this kid. Like, what do you like? I just try them out. It's like, what is he gonna do?
Right, well, he's not standing yet. Right?
90% of the time he's in a diaper because we're not even
Right.
going
Did
outside.
you stage a photo though
Nope,
for your mom?
didn't even. I
Like,
just
put it
felt-
on
no.
and just like
Cut the
Hey,
cut the
all
shoe
right,
in half and just tape half of it on and do the picture from the side. Like, look, their shoes are on.
Just get it bronze. Just get it bronze and call it a day.
go into After Effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The putting the sleeves on is terrifying to me.
Oh, because of the fingers?
'Cause of the fingers.
And they just bend all
'Cause
over
they-
the place?
Well, they're real bendy anyway.
Yeah.
That and the nail clipping.
So speaking of gear, I bought, because I'm super afraid I was going to clip a kid's finger off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought like this little sander.
Like a Dremel?
It was like a Dremel for baby
Seems
fingernails.
like a real bad idea.
Yeah, it was. I never used it.
Did you bite the nails?
Well, I let Jesse do that. I let my wife do it.
Yeah, we bite the nails.
Oh man, I don't know that I can.
Pretty gross.
just don't like. I think moms. This is where like the genetic code differs. Like
Yeah.
for her, it is like she's
Yeah.
like whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, see, Gina's real wussy about it. I
Oh, really?
do it. Well, she does it now more, but yeah.
Do you sprinkle it like salt on the placenta and eat that
No.
like, for a meal?
No,
2
are you
months
guys
later?
going to eat the placenta? Is that something you're going to freeze dried?
That's fucking escalated, man.
yeah,
You know, you can get it put in capsules.
jeez, no, yeah, you just want to get out of that hospital room at some point. You don't want to sit down to a dinner.
Yeah.
So, okay, Dave's getting ready to have a baby. I don't know when we're going to do this again next. I think we should try to do it a little regularly.
Sure.
What should Dave know that you didn't know going in?
I'll say the thing aside from the feeding thing, which we talked about, which was like, go with your gut on that one. Like if the kid is crying and it seems a little crazy, like call somebody or stick a bottle in its mouth. But the thing that I was misled. I'll say the first thing with what my wife said. I think I told you this. Well, she said when she was giving birth, she said, "We were lied to. This is not the most beautiful moment of my life." She said, "Why'd they all lie to us? Why'd they lie?" But I'll say the thing that I was misled and was drilled into me was every class and everything medical professional, maybe misled.
Light is harsh.
Yeah, lied is harsh because they're trying to do their job. Was
Well, I think once you reach the point where like you're going to have the baby, they're just trying to like make you not lose your shit before.
Yeah, that's right.
Like they want you to not come in panicked.
So
right.
So along those lines, the thing they said to me, they kept telling us was like, don't rush to the hospital. Like labor's gonna take 3 years.
yeah.
Like don't rush to the hospital. Like you're gonna feel pain. Every mommy thinks she's in labor. Like don't go to the hospital. Wait until you're breathing. You're timing your shit and you're fucking whatever. Just don't waste our time. Like come in when the baby's ready.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is come to the hospital and then be sent home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got the call from my wife being like, I think it's time. And I was at the office in some like all hands meeting. And then, so she was like, I was like, okay, I got to leave the office. I'm in this meeting, whatever. She's like, don't worry. Take your time because we're going to be here for hours. We're going to do the walk around the park and breathe and like go climb a mountain like we saw on all the slides.
The fun one though that we both share is when you were having Max, it was right when we were switching over.
Yes.
And so it's like, I'm trying to get Comic Vine out the
Yeah.
door, like, really quickly.
You've got something else that's more important.
Oh,
pressing.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but it's, like, funny that you have, like, those countdown
There's
clocks
always
at the
something.
same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So all the stuff was happening. We were just right in the CBSI transition, and so I was kind of in this first all hands meeting. And I was like, "You don't know," because I was about 45 minutes away or an hour away from my wife, and she was like, take your time. All right, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my jacket. I'm gonna head over there. I'm not gonna fuck around. As I'm putting on my jacket, must have been about 2 minutes later. She's like, "Get the fuck home now!" So I'm on the train and I'm texting her, and the responses are coming like fewer and fewer apart, right? Where I'm like, oh, ha, is everything okay? Everything's okay. And then like it would be like 10 minutes later, "Are you here?" And I ran from the train station, got Jessie in the car. I walked in, the door was open. She was pretty much half naked already. The towel rack was ripped off the wall, literally on the ground on the floor. She had tried taking a shower, and she's like, "Let's go." I was like, "Do you want me to put clothes on you? You're naked." She's like, "No, go, let's go." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I like tried to put my hand on her. She said, "Don't touch me, let's go." And I was like, "Let's put clothes on you." So like, and then she was like, she got a moment between contractions, and she's like, "Okay, all right, yeah, let's put clothes on." And then in the car, she's screaming, gets in the hospital. 20 minutes later, Max was born.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I thought we were fast.
So it was like, they were like, if you had hit traffic, like you would have had that baby in the car, you should have been here about 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
So maybe somewhere in there is split the difference. That I think Jessie was like, kind of tough girling it a little bit. And of like, they keep saying, wait. But like, what's the worst that happens? The worst that happens is they do send you home, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to get stuck, an hour and a half. You don't have a baby on the BART, right? So like, go. They send you home, go get a hotel room or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I would say. Ruin, just destroy some hotel room. Do horrible things in there.
So heads up on that. That is the one thing that I thought was like through that whole experience was maybe the next time we'll try to go a little earlier.
There was a lot more fluid involved than I expected.
It's a tough process.
It's there's
Glory.
a lot of biology there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not all. You'd think it would be all figured out by now.
No.
Nope.
Well, and so the thing that freaked me
Was
out was
Tom Arnold there?
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
9
now.
months, man.
Oh.
Tom Arnold. It's just like the worst movie I could think
No.
of.
That is a terrible movie.
It's
I
deep
know.
pull.
Yeah.
I thought I bottomed out with Black Sheep.
Seriously.
Nice job. No, the thing. So the thing that weirded me out was that there was no I expected there to be a whole team of experts in there, and it was basically until the last 5 minutes it was the nurse, and then the doctor had rolled in
Yep.
at the last possible minute and was putting on his gown and came in with his hat and his booties and gloves off and was looked in and was like, "Oh shit, I better go faster." But my whole role. I wasn't coaching or helping massage or any of that shit because it went fast.
Yeah, that stuff goes right out the window.
Yeah, my whole thing was distraction. That's all I was there for, was to give her something else to think about, to make her not realize that when it was not time to push yet, I had to keep her from pushing for 45 minutes, and while the doctor made his slow, gentle arrival.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot more fluid than I expected.
The thing that I remembered the most that freaked me out was that it takes a while, And so in most cases, in our case, even a while being a few minutes is a while, because what happens is all of a sudden there's this head coming out of your wife.
Yeah.
And it's not all the way out yet, So I remember my daughter's just looking around. This human head looking around from between my wife's legs. I'm like, fuck!
All right, this ain't natural.
Scariest thing ever.
The doctor looks. The doctor's down there. It's like, "You want to feel the head?"
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Yeah, okay." And I was like, "No, I want some magic down there."
Yeah, it's kind of alien
Yeah.
for a few minutes there.
Yeah, my wife definitely did the no. Just get this done. And then we'll touch the head after.
Yeah, we'll have 20, 30 years, the rest of our lives to touch
Did
the
you
head.
talk to your dads at all? I asked my dad, and I was like, "Yeah, how did it go?" He's like, "What are you talking about? I was smoking."
Right.
He's like,
Yeah.
"We didn't have to do with that." He's like, "I was smoking. They had a room for us."
So my parents were in the first Lamaze class in their hospital, And they did it specifically because the only way they would allow the dads in the room was if they were in the Lamaze class and they didn't do the drugs and all that
wow.
stuff. So, like my father, the doctor taped a square that was like a 2x2 square up by my mom's left shoulder, and he had to do the full gown and the hat and the mask and everything. And he was told if his foot left the square at all,
They'd take him out
they
of
would
there?
take him out.
Jeez.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a like he had a completely different experience. Like she was like, it's just a normal room. I was like, yeah, I mean, there's a big light in the ceiling, and the legs. It has like the bed
stirrups and
converts in a
everything,
weird
yeah.
way. But yeah, so did they have the thing where like the nurses like grab her leg and pull back?
Yes.
Yeah, see, we did that too. I was not expecting that one at all.
Yeah, and
Like it was a full contact. Don't wear clothes you expect to wear again.
Sure.
This is another.
I can't like frame them, put them on a wall.
You could,
somewhere?
yeah. I mean, but like wear sweatpants. It's a sweatpants. A tracksuit is perfectly acceptable in this
Can
environment.
do. I got
Yeah.
And there was definitely a point. So that one part is the Vinny lesson. I would say everything else I think is just my personal experience of hey, guess what, this happened to me. But
I think that's all we got.
yeah, well, I think that the thing about like hey, don't wait too long. I don't know. They really push you to wait a long time. But
Where you live, especially.
They're like we've already got a plan. Like there's a couple hospitals on the way.
Okay.
So
I think they frown on that just to
there were parts of that whole experience where the woman I love and married disappeared, and a thing giving birth took her place and was screaming at me and scratching me and telling me things that the devil wouldn't say, right? Like, basically like, oh,
So it's like The Exorcist, basically.
and you're just basically, I'm sitting there trying to be the most patient, understanding, new age,
Yeah.
touchy-feely daddy, right? Like, oh, sweetie, it's okay.
Gregorian chant.
Fuck you. It's not fucking okay. Yeah, this is not okay. What part of this is okay? And like kind of like parroting what the doctors are saying, because a lot of it's like, okay, push, you're doing so great. And they're like, why is this happening to me? Why? And then they're like, no, stop pushing. Don't push now. And she's like, fucking make up your mind. Because as she was telling me, she's like, the parts where they keep asking you to push are the parts where you don't want to push. And then as the baby's coming out, you want to push and get the baby out. And then like, whoa, lady, slow down. This thing's coming out a little fast, and we don't know if you're ready for it. And she's like, no, the baby's coming out. So they'll be like, no, tell her to stop pushing. And I'm like, sweetie, you gotta stop pushing. She's like, I don't fucking care.
It's okay to lie. Like when they were telling Gina not to push, and she was like, I don't think I cannot push. I was like, you fuck with their time sets because they have no idea what's going on at this point.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I need to,
Yeah.
how long do you think that contraction lasts? And she's like, 25 minutes. And you're like, it was like 70 seconds maybe on the outside.
Right.
And she's like, no. So yeah, just distract.
And like, yeah, totally. Like, it's something that nothing. Don't take anything personally, right? Like when she starts saying that this was the worst idea you've ever had, Vinny.
We could have just gotten a dog. I wouldn't have to squeeze the dog out of myself.
But then immediately afterward, it's like immediately after, and I can imagine because it's over. It is pretty fantastic. It is definitely one of those things of the shock wears off, and then you're like, and you walk out of the hospital and you're like, this is the rest of my life, but that's okay. That's really cool. That this is kind of great. And I'm at the point now, 11 months in, I really do enjoy it. Like genuinely, like without a hint of sarcasm, like it is actually genuinely rad now that he's more interactive and like walking around and like reacting to funny faces and trying to talk and like it's super fun. First 3 months, that was pretty rough.
That's actually what the advice I was going to give was that I think this is true for fathers more than it is for moms, because after the baby's born, at first it's horrifying, then you get him home, and then you sort of have this magical moment. But when it settles into the day-to-day, this was true for me, and I know it's true for a lot of dads that I knew at the time, was
in the 60s?
in the last century. Well, it was last century.
Yeah.
That for the dad, you fall off having much to do, actually, and you're not really there's not much for you to bond with. Like it's kind of all about the mom and the kid and the feeding. I'm talking about like right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
a few months.
I mean, it's literally 45 minutes every 3 hours, and then they sleep the rest of the time.
Right. They have no use for you as a father, the baby. And all you're doing is like not sleeping and hearing screaming and your wife devoting all the attention to the baby. So for a little bit, like I never like felt like fuck this, but I definitely felt like, well, God.
You felt left out?
Well, felt left out. But then at the point where they start getting interactive, that's when the dad job really
Yeah.
starts getting great.
And it does become actually fun. Like there are parts of just like I'll take them, go outside, and like we'll just play. And like you can't really play, and then there's not a lot of play. You shake things in front of their face in the early.
You make eye contact. Like
Yeah.
you get a smile, and you're like, woohoo, yeah, smile.
Right. But now it's at the point where
I
like
think she just pooped.
it's there's the learning going on, right? So now it's at the point where you do something and he'll try and do it, right?
Yeah.
You touch something, and it's amazing because it's like we're just at the point, we're just turning that corner where he might slightly be more intelligent than a dog, right? Where like you can.
I think that's 2, right?
I feel like now he can do tricks that like would take me at least a long time to train. My dog,
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
Where it can be like, like he'll watch me open a drawer, and then I'll shut the door, and I'll turn around, and then he'll walk over and open the drawer.
It does, yeah, that is kind of freaky. I remember saying to my wife at one point, like, wow, she's like not a pet.
Right. Right.
Because for a while they're just cute and they do what you want, and then they develop intelligence and a mind of their own. And it's
There's going to be a
crazy.
sad moment when Chloe is no longer her mental equal.
Exactly.
The Chloe's the dog, Jeff. Sorry.
No, I got that. Wow, you're being harsh on your wife.
No, so the thing for me during that time was I was the diaper guy and I fed the wife. Those were my jobs, and it was really easy until I had to come back to work, and then all of a sudden shit got real. Coming back to work was really hard.
Yeah.
Of course, and then I had the appendicitis, so that made things a little bit.
That
Then I
was
got another week
crazy.
off.
Crazy.
I know that's pretty.
that was
crazy.
your sympathy pregnancy or something.
Yeah, I got the high speed ride to the hospital that we got screwed out of because of the induction. So that was fun.
That is bananas.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I don't encourage that. But if you've never had a sponge bath by a 50-year-old nurse nun,
Was
then-
she hot?
No, she just kept calling me honey and telling me to unclench because she couldn't get things clean otherwise.
That sounds good to me.
Full contact. It was real.
It's real.
It was
enlightening experience.
more
for
than
us,
I
you're
needed.
right.
Yeah, vanity goes in the hospital. So yeah, honey.
So does this all sound good to you, Dave? You ready?
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be, I'm sure it'll be totally different.
Yeah, it'll be
That's the big
completely
thing.
different, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And amazing in its own way.
Yeah. I mean, our big one's mostly just that's a long time so like for us, we're kind of hoping that it's like middle of the night or something, because then we can just scoot. Like and not at, rush hour traffic time.
Your rush hour traffic would be bad.
I think they tell you to like try and go back to sleep, don't they? If it's in the nighttime, if it's like you start feeling labor, like early labor.
Well, just
stuff.
time it. Get an app. I'm serious.
Yeah, the contraction
get
app.
that the thing you tap.
Are they
'cause
meant
it's
to
idiot-proof.
give birth? Like, do you want to give a birth
Yeah.
now? No, 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
They could get some good microtransactions out of that.
Delay the
that's
timer
an EA
$5.
epidural. Too soon, Jeff.
Too soon.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, it was bad with a 40-minute drive. It was scary with a 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
But we also have. There's also this. I wish I had my parents around because they would have been able to speak to this. There are crazy phases in 11 months that we've had our son that lasted like 3 days to a week that we didn't know would last not indefinitely.
You mean like all of a sudden she wants to eat he in your case wants to eat every 45 minutes instead of every 3 hours?
Sure, and
Yeah.
get super cranky, or
Yeah.
this weird Velociraptor sound phase that was just like. That's all it
Yeah.
was, and it was just like,
We
oh
had
my,
that.
oh,
That's
oh my
fun.
God, what is happening? And it's just like the sound would emanate from the child that would just be like, wah! And I'm like, we can't live like this.
Robert Plant. He's doing his Robert Plant impersonation.
And like we can never go out. We can never go out in public. Our lives are over. Like we might as well move to like this a commune or something. Like we're done. And then like a week later it was done. But you don't know that at the time, and you're just like, I don't want to fly with a child anyway. And now that's it. We're never leaving the house.
But everybody says the first 6 or 8 months you can travel with impunity.
That was a lie. That was also a lie.
Oh, really? Did he get on the plane and just start screaming the entire time?
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, and there was like a baby next to us that was like 6 or 8 months, and it was just like knocked out. I don't think our son likes sleeping at all.
Well, so
Really,
Yeah,
just
our daughter did not like sleeping, and now she's in college and she still doesn't sleep. So just like some people are just like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, growing up, like we always said, even when she was like in middle school or whatever, she never wanted to go to bed. And when she got to a certain age, it was like, see ya.
yeah.
Stay up as late as you want. I don't give a shit.
go do your own thing,
I'm going
yeah.
to bed.
No, our baby will go to sleep, but she doesn't. Yeah, like sometimes she has a hard time. Like she doesn't know how to fall asleep. That's the big thing for us. Is like she very clearly is like super tired, wants to go to sleep, but has no idea how to get from I'm wide ass awake and angry about not being asleep to asleep. And so she like does baby gang signs and like punches herself in the head and does the rage legs. And then you have to kind of like the rage legs are where she's just bicycle kicking as fast as she can.
That shit hurts too.
Tell me about it. Yeah. And then you kind of just get up and walk around with her and bounce her for a little bit, and everybody says get a swing because the swing is magic, but that's horseshit. The swing works for some babies and not others.
What's all your essential gear? I got most of it from him.
He probably did a pretty good job if I had to guess.
there was just a stroller and the car seat.
Yeah, all those were just basic.
Did you go Chico, Graco, or other?
I went the Kiko car seat.
Okay.
And the Uppa Baby.
Oh, we got the Uppa Baby too.
The Vista?
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
nice.
right, so we're all
That thing is bomb.
It is
we're all
pretty
apparently
awesome.
supporters. It'll be the next Zojirushi out there.
Well, and so
It's a pretty rad stroller.
So the thing about the Uppa Baby, because like right now we're using the stroller that goes with the car seat until she's like 30 pounds. But at least most of the time, like when we tool around the neighborhood, then we get the fancy stroller out. But we're using the pram that came with the Uppa Baby as like her living room, like where we put her in the living room.
Wait, the bassinet thing?
The bassinet thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because like we have a 1,000 square foot house, and like in the living room there's a sofa and 2 chairs, and that doesn't leave room for much else.
Right.
So what's
like,
she sleeping though?
So we got the co-sleeper thing that you attach on the side of the bed, and I can't remember what the brand is, but it's brown, and it's like a half-size thing. It'll be a playpen when she's a little tiny bit bigger.
Oh, rad.
But so it hooks. So we have our bedroom's not big enough for a king-size bed, and there's not room for that thing that goes between your head, basically, which is what I know a bunch of other people we've talked to used. So we got this thing that goes between Gina's side of the bed and the wall, and then when it's, I mean, I can't do the night stuff because I can't feed her.
Right.
But at such a point in time when we can trade off the night stuff, we'll just switch and sleep on different sides. And it's nice because it's a little tiny bit lower than the bed, but there's a little rail, so you can't like roll over into her. The covers tuck in between, so we can't accidentally strangle. Because the thing that I didn't know is that babies apparently like explode. They're real self-destructive. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You can't let them touch the covers. You have to keep their arms all bundled up so they can't
Right.
like accidentally asphyxiate themselves.
Stuffed animals or they don't want you to put stuffed animals in there. Flip it over with a spatula every once in a while, like make sure it's not like
Yeah, you have to aim the baby different directions so they don't get a flat spot on their
Yeah.
head. Even though no matter what, she always lays to the left, no matter what we do. So she's gonna have a flat. Sorry, kid.
This is another thing. Like this shit just didn't exist,
Right.
And we all turned out fine. Well,
I don't know.
relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, so did you put the baby in the baby slept in another room, or did you have a crib like at the foot of the bed?
At
or
the
something?
very beginning, she actually just slept in our bed with us because she was so bad about
Berkeley hippies.
nursing.
So how long until the baby didn't sleep in the bed?
13. I'm sorry, that's disgusting. I just had to do it.
It was actually 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
It was
Last
probably like 8 months or so.
Okay.
It was a while.
Because we still have Max coming in the bed most times because he just freaks out in the crib alone.
Yeah.
And it's like he'll sleep and then he'll wake up and he'll scream and he'll scream and then he'll sleep and wake up and he'll scream. But he won't wake up at all in the bed, right? So he'll just sleep through the night.
Right. Well, so I'm at like 8 months of like we deliberately would put her in bed with us, when we went to sleep.
Yeah.
But then for like a couple years after that, she would be in her room, and at some point in the middle of the night,
Just
she'd
come
run
into the
in
room.
and come into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd inevitably go into her room and fall asleep, just so I could sleep.
That sounds so
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah, no.
And like that was that's the thing. Like I was kind of initially like my parents were, they weren't super strict, but I feel like my dad was very much a like cry it out, rub some
Yeah.
dirt on it, like
My parents have given us the if they cry after a certain period, like if they reach double weight, just give them a bottle of water. She'll cry. She'll cry that first night, and then after that, she'll sleep right through it. We asked the pediatrician. He was like, "No, don't. That's real bad advice. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That is not what the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends."
We were total wusses. We would always go get her.
Yeah,
we
that's
couldn't.
where
We
we're
couldn't.
at.
We couldn't do it.
Softy.
It breaks your heart to hear them. But the parents that I know that actually were tough that way, they were better off in the end. Because the kid would just by 4
I
or
have the
5
heart of
years old,
stone.
they would just go, "Yeah, I know I have to go to bed now, and I'm going to bed."
We couldn't even do it with our dog.
I know.
Oh, you're dead.
doomed.
Then. You're doomed.
You're doomed.
Yeah.
We gave it a shot because my brother has 4 kids and he did the kind of like it's cry it out's maybe a tough politically not correct term or whatever the kind of time.
That's what the Eastern European nurse said to do.
The like 10 minutes 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
tried it. And people said it's terrible. It is really it broke my heart. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, we would last like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, she's miserable.
Yeah,
Go
my
get
wife
her.
was like, we were both kind of in tears. It was really rough. And also, he was big enough. Like I said, he's kind of a mutant kid, so he was big enough to start thrashing around. And we're just like, he's just gonna hurt himself. Like this is whatever it is not worth it. But then, yeah, totally, I can see that I have a lifetime of a kid doing karate chops into my stomach. Sleeping next to me in bed.
Well, so the nice thing about the co-sleeper thing, and then this is what I like about that more than any of the other crap we bought, is that you can sit and hold her in bed and kind of bounce her until she falls asleep because the thing that she likes is to be held more than anything else.
Yeah, we still have to like walk him around to sleep.
Yeah. So she will hold her, bounce her, and then you can kind of tell when she starts to be hard asleep because you get the eye flickers and all that stuff. And then you just lay her down and she's good. And then like she might wake up a little bit and you'll hear like a gurgle or something, but more often than not, if you hit a little white noise or just shush, then she'll kind of be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go back to sleep now." And that has made like day-to-day living much, much better. Also, get a white noise thing. Like the white noise app for your phone, it just goes. I have them on phones,
true.
iPads, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like an off switch for the baby. It's amazing. It's magic.
Sleep sheep.
It's a sleep sheep.
Oh, it makes white noise. I've got white. I was just gonna bring my white noise app up. Everybody, take out your white noise app.
Mine does pink and orange noise too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I didn't know.
I want to hear this. I want to know what it's like.
Oh,
you wanna see that?
It's white noise.
It's white. Yeah, it's exactly what
It's
you
like
expect.
static on your TV.
So the app is called White Noise. The icon's blue.
I wonder if we have exactly the same one. This is fantastic. I mean, dig through all my awesome games here.
Okay, so this is the brown noise.
gross.
You can also switch over to white noise.
Oh man.
And is this explicitly for babies? Is that
No.
how they market it, or what?
I think it's supposed to be for people who like can't sleep in hotel rooms because you plug this into that clock radio in your hotel room, and then you get the white noise if you're staying in some horrible hotel and people are like having sex or burning the house down next to you or something. This one also does a train ride.
I think we must have the same one.
Yeah,
You're
Nice,
saying
that's really
this is,
nice.
You're saying this is good for the baby or for you?
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this is a Tibetan singing bowl. I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's the train again. Heartbeat. That one doesn't work at all. This is a
No.
complete waste of time.
How about whale noises?
I don't think I have whale noises.
But this works?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think like you said, everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for her, there's a certain point beyond which like nothing works, and you have to just get up and walk around. But if you catch them early, then you can come in with the white noise, and it's like she's like, "Oh, wait, I can't hear anything above myself anymore." The other thing is that Ferberizing stuff is complete nonsense.
Is
Did
that
you have the Ferberizing video where you swaddle up the kid, and then
Yeah.
you hold him and you rock him?
that worked. That
Oh,
actually,
that's what
that
they
worked for
taught
us.
us that stuff.
Horse shit.
No, that worked. That worked for
I
us.
saw it
Oh,
work
really?
like in practice as
Yeah.
if I was watching
A magic trick?
No, exactly, like some old carny
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
where I was like, I just got duped.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like
That's not a
I
real
took,
baby.
Like a baby
Right.
and like did it. I was like, oh my god, this one's a magician.
So the thing about it is, it works like it's like an as seen on TV ad. Like it works right up until the moment the camera cuts off and you
Yeah.
stop doing the rocking and the shushing, and then she's back to full blast again.
It was good for us to get out of the full blast mode to
Yeah.
get into the like, okay, now you're reasonable. Let's go to sleep.
That's true. It does work in that context.
So Jeff, so we're up to the point where we're coming up on a year, right?
Yeah.
just getting into the interactive part.
Yeah.
Oh, future.
Yeah. So
That's a great stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Future of like childcare.
Yeah.
So we're up to the part now where it's starting to it moved into self-destructive.
Yeah.
Danger of choking on pillows.
Sure.
To now I'm gonna touch everything.
Right.
When is the point when you can rationalize and say, don't reach up on that counter because you'll pull the
Yeah,
knife down and
You got like at least 2 more years. Before
Okay.
That. But I remember that becomes a really interesting part because at some point they get very mobile, they get smart, but they don't get intelligent.
Yes.
So like I remember I used to have these
That's a good way to put it.
She was now vocal and she could reason, and I would be having arguments with her over why she shouldn't put her hand on the stove. And she's like yelling about it. She's like, I want to put my hand on the stove. And,
So you just give her a fork and tell her to walk around and jam it wherever she wants and let Darwin sort it
yeah,
out.
you're just like, fuck, man. Like, I'm sorry. I can't
Right.
let you burn yourself. You know? So
I'm a
there-
bad dad if you let me. Yeah.
And I think my wife thinks
God, this is terrifying.
that everything's going to turn around once he starts talking, and like,
Oh, no.
and it's like, oh, I just can't wait until he starts talking, and I'm like, I don't think you understand what's going to come out of his mouth. It's going to be the most frustrating stuff to you because it's
Yeah.
going to be illogical.
Right. It's a lot. They don't have logic for a long time. And then even when they get logic, like some of the stuff that seems cute and you see it in movies like the why thing, them always asking why.
Yeah.
Like it actually gets really annoying, Like it seems funny at first. Why? Well, because the dog. Well, why? And it just goes on and on and on. And eventually you actually have other stuff you want to do.
Did you do the like Calvin and Hobbes dad trick where you just make up?
Oh, yeah, totally. That stuff gets really
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you realize at some point you could like totally fuck with
You
your
make
kid.
up your own science.
Your own language, your own alphabet, Z, Q, A, T.
That's monstrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Good luck in kindergarten, kid. Dumb shit.
Did you ever run into issues of like, for you, like at a point when you're like, I'm going to give this kid to school or a complete stranger, and worrying, like just constant worry?
Oh yeah, that
Does that never go away?
that never goes away. Yeah,
I can't
mean,
imagine.
she's in college now, and I'm like every day, I'm like, oh my god, what's she doing in New York?
So did
Yeah.
you then, like at some point did you realize that and then just like call your mom or dad or something, or call your family and say like, I'm so sorry?
Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, you guys have a long time to go, but it really hits when they become a teenager. All of a sudden you go, oh my God, I was such an asshole. All they were trying to do was fucking watch after me.
Right.
'Cause-
Try to keep me from killing myself.
yeah, I mean, you can't not be that same person that your parents were. It's impossible. You can
Yeah.
think you're the coolest dude in the world, and at some point you're just going to say all that shit, and you're going to go, oh, God. You start going like, you're not having dinner till you clean that fucking room. You just say that shit.
I've got a
You
reason
can't help
for a
it.
mustache now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, you can't. There's no escaping it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before on our other podcast, on that other podcast.
Oh, you guys do a podcast? I
we
didn't know.
just started. We're trying to kind of find our feet. Okay. But yeah, there are parts already where I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's how my dad got this way. Like I thought he was always this way, but like, no, here's how he started dressing like this. Here's how he started like,
Oh, yeah.
like these things that I was just like, here's how he started burping every day. It was just like, 'cause
You just kind of fucking, you stop caring.
you just stop caring,
Right.
and you're just like,
Well, you reprioritize is the other way to say that.
well, kind of, but
Well,
like,
yeah,
you know, like when I was a kid, my dad would
could
just
put
like
it that way.
We'd go out to dinner, and like, by going out to dinner, it'd be like, the diner or whatever. But just like finish a meal and like burp or something like that, and be like, I'm so embarrassed, Dad. And now it's like,
I like real Italian Vinny. This is
but now with a kid sitting on the end of the table,
Excuse me.
if I can have like 2 minutes just to gobble in my food, right?
Yeah.
I'll jam it all down and I'll fucking burp, and I don't care. Because this kid's been screaming for
Right.
25 minutes. So if you don't give a shit about that, you're not going to care if I burp,
Well-
smell,
Right.
shit myself right here.
Yeah.
well, and like the personal hygiene thing, like already at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're like, when does Target open? I need to go get diapers. Like, I'm lucky
Yeah,
I'm wearing
sweatpants,
pants.
yeah.
Like I shorts, like gym shorts. I got to Target and didn't have my fucking wallet because I was wearing gym shorts. I didn't have a pocket to
no.
put them in. Target's 18 miles away or something.
man.
So, yeah, always keep cash in the car is the other thing.
Yeah, we have cash in the car.
Cash in the car is good.
But yeah, it's amazing. Like all the like preconceptions I had of like the cool dad I was gonna be.
I think you're a cool dad,
Just
Vinny.
no, I know. Well, Max thinks I'm pretty cool. When I give him a bottle, he gets psyched. But like, it's already gone. It's already shattering.
There's some point at which it really is gone. Like, I mean, you hate to tell you, but you're right. Like, there's definitely a point where you become more a dad than like a guy,
A human
I think,
being.
you
But,
know?
but I kind of like it.
But no, but I like it too. I
it's-
love it. I would never give it up in the world. The best thing that ever happened to me.
Right.
I love my daughter so much. But like at some point, you realize like women aren't really looking at you anymore. That's kind of over.
right,
Or they're like, God, you're so cool. I wish you were my dad. Like, no, that's the worst thing you could say to me. And then having a girl is a whole other matter. You're not going to
No,
have that issue,
terrified.
at least with your first one here.
So yeah, like I was kind of thinking about that. Of like, if I had a girl, I think I would be the worst.
There's so many things they don't tell you. And I'll tell you one. Hopefully this isn't going to sound too creepy. But one thing you're not prepared for is when they get to be teenagers and they have their teenage girlfriends who come over to your house and you're just a male guy. And
Oh,
there's,
God.
Yeah. You see where I'm going with this?
Oh,
And
this is not good.
Yeah, it's not good at all. Now there's like teenage girls at your house, like not wearing a lot of clothes. And like part of you is like, huh. And then you go like, oh,
Right.
shit, that's, they should take me to jail. But you can't help it because they're like,
Oh, that's not good.
it's really, and then you think like, oh,
that-
shit,
I
when
would-
my daughter is sleeping over at her friend's house, that fucking dad is thinking that about my kid. I'm going to kill him.
Right, like here are my like 19-year-old like daughter's friends or something
Yeah,
like that.
you seriously can't help it.
this
I
is
mean,
why
you could
people
try.
homeschool, right?
Right. There was one
just
day.
keep
it
them
was-
isolated.
So it was middle school. So it wasn't even
Oh,
high
Jesus.
school. So the girls are like, the kids are like 16 years old. And I was at an open house at the middle school. And I'm standing out there on one of the classroom porches. I'm just looking out. And there's two other dads there. And this girl walks by. And she is completely hot. And she's not wearing many clothes. And the three of us as dads all look at each other and we're like, is it yours? Like, nope. And we all laugh. No one said anything, but we were all looking at her.
That's pretty funny.
Oh,
So-
that's grim.
So do you kind of like turn on like a little like dad coolness, like to try and like be like, hey, what's going on,
It's
guys?
impossible.
You want to like
Absolutely impossible.
I'm totally hip and cool, like I
Oh.
can hang.
Well, what happened like by high school is that like, like some of her friends, like guy friends, knew who I was from being gamers or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird. And they thought I was cool, and they thought she was cool for me being her dad.
Yeah.
But she was she
wanted
hated
nothing to
it.
do with that, I'm sure.
That
Yeah.
didn't make me cool to her. That was like more reason to think I was embarrassing.
But Dad.
Yeah. So
You're Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah, so you're never cool when you're dad, especially when they get to be teens. Now that she's in college, it's coming back around again. You guys have so far to go.
So like walking around.
Yeah, I'll be like 80 by the time we get to college.
Yeah. Well, like walking around now, I just look at like teenage boys. Well,
Yeah.
I should have started this sentence
Whoa.
earlier.
Going in weird places.
When I see teenage boys,
Yeah.
I just say I don't think I can deal with my kid being that.
I'm afraid of
dorky.
teenage boys.
Well, they're huge, awkward dorks, right?
Yeah.
They're just like nature's kind of like mistake for a little while, and they're like, the arms are too long, and the
Yeah.
head's really big and pimply, and just like
Yeah.
it'll all start out, and they talk really weird, and then they have stupid jokes, and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with a kid that's just gonna be like in my mind, like it's not a bully thing, but just be like, you're a fucking dork. Like, what's wrong? Like,
And you were wearing a mesh shirt.
I know, and
you probably had a little.
You wore a mesh shirt?
Italian
I know.
mustache, I bet, didn't you?
yeah,
You totally did.
And then
no
like
such thing as a little Italian mustache. You had a Mario thing
that
going
little
there.
No, it's just like
14-year-old,
it's not
that
quite
wispy
grown in.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
the gamer sash.
Yeah, my dad totally like gave me shit for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it seems like the most annoying thing in the world.
That was kind of the thing that made me sort of wish I had a boy, though, because like when her guy friends would come over and they were exactly like you're talking about, horrible like red Jufros and pimples and just like oh god, and I'm like that's what I used to be, and like I kind of want to say to these guys like it's gonna be fine.
Oh, just
yeah,
be the
I
voice
know.
of reason.
Yeah, like
I'm much-
I know you hate yourself right now, but and I can see why, but you're gonna be, but you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, the self-loathing that you're developing now is going to serve you well through the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm much better equipped to deal with like 10-year-old boys. This is how that sounds really bad, but
No.
like like to communicate and like I look at girl stuff and from
It's
the
a
very
foreign
beginning.
land.
Yeah, from the very beginning, like the newborn clothes are generally pretty like unisex, right?
yeah.
And then as soon as you get into size, the first size, it's like trucks and bears and dogs and pink shit with frills. And like
nothing
that's
in
where
between.
and there's never the twain shall meet. And like you go, like I walk through the toy section at the toy store or at Target or whatever. I'm like, this is the boy aisle. I know how to like this. I know about. And then like you go to the girl aisle, and it's like, whoa, man, this all looks like it kind of sucks.
Yeah, but at some point, from like 10 on, like you as a dad, you're just looped out like forever.
Okay.
At some point, there's whole areas of conversation where it's like, I'm going to talk to mom about this, and like you go, thank God,
Yeah.
please do.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to go
it's out of my
shopping for
wheelhouse.
bras
So
with my daughter.
Well, yeah, because like even going to the diaper section at Target, you have to go like the fast way is through like the little girls' underwear section. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when you have a beard like mine and you're walking through Target in like your track shorts and like a white T-shirt with like yellow armpits at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and just kind of woke up on a
Then
raspy voice.
you walk up to the cashier and you try to pay for it and you're like, oh, I don't have any money.
Fuck, I didn't bring my wallet.
I don't
They're
have
like
money.
they're waving for security and like
We're going to have to ask you to leave.
you've
sir.
never gotten the stink eye like
then you're
the
just running
girl
out.
picking out underwear, woman picking out underwear with a 5-year-old girl. It's not good.
I think for me, it was like when I knew I was going to have a girl, I was like, oh man, I suddenly thought back to like all my friends' dads that had just had squadrons of girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like how he would just sit there like watching baseball
They're
and
just
like
yeah.
love to have like a man around.
Yeah.
You know, like even a 12-year-old
Hey,
kid.
Dave, how you doing? Like football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had those moments, I mean, I just have one kid, but there were times even our dog was female, and there's times where like, Jesus, like fucking estrogen over, get me out of here. Yeah.
My wife wanted a boy, and I totally wanted a girl. I think it was, and when we finally compared notes as to why, it was she knows everything a girl would do, and I know everything a boy would do, and we did not want to have that in the back of our mind. Like, I don't want to have a kid being like, I know exactly what the fuck you're going on.
Yeah.
I know exactly I know there's gonna be the and this could be a boy or a girl. Dad, wasted. The car's wrapped around something.
Yeah.
And we're okay. And, this, that, and the other thing. Just like, I know exactly what you did when you told me you were going out to go to work late at the 7-Eleven. Because we all did it, right?
Yeah.
And my wife is like, yeah, well, girls are more of the like, I just broke this other girl in my school's mind for the rest of her life.
Girls are
Yeah.
horrible to each other.
Yeah. And like, she's like, I don't want to be part of that. So we'll see how it goes. I don't
Yeah.
know. But also having a kid today, and I mean, we're all of an age where this wasn't an issue. Like raising a kid with the internet the way it is and social media is terrifying to me.
I think that makes it much worse. Because
I fear for that kid's social life.
well, and even just like getting information about like, oh, is this something I need to go to the hospital for? Is this like we ended up just going to the store and buying a book that's like here's all the shit that can go wrong with your kid book. Because when you started Googling bloodshot eye infant, like the worst thing, it's the worst. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's real bad. We got the pediatrician book, but yeah, the social media stuff is terrifying.
It's really, really scary. So with your daughter, like she was kind of in the middle of that, right?
She was, yeah. She came of age, like Facebook was around. I guess it was still like she had heard of Facebook before me. So it was that kind of thing. It was like
Wow.
right at that point where like it was like the cool thing that
Jeez, Dad.
the kids were doing. Yeah. And we were our policy on everything was not to make anything be taboo. And I can tell you, being on the other side of it now, it pretty much worked. I mean, knock on wood. Like we never had I'm talking about when they were at like teenage age. We never were like, you can't do that.
You didn't have passwords? You didn't like ask for...
We didn't do that. And like, and because I was in the video game industry or video game journalism industry, I was playing games all the time, right? All the time. And so there was a worry like, well, do we have to, how many hours a day, all that kind of stuff. And so we just came up with a rule that was like, you get like, and this was during that crucial period of time where she could have gone either way, like around 12, 13, 14. It's like you get 1 hour.
Hold on. Explain that she could have gone either way thing.
Well, if we
Like evil or good? Like, are we talking about like super villain or super
Jedi or
right. Sith or Jedi? Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Plant or zombie?
No, just like down the black hole of like, she's just like a, blithering idiot in front of a TV screen all day.
Okay.
Or
Homer
she's
Simpson.
actually going to read books or whatever.
The Sergey Brin Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, so we said like I was like, video games are not bad. TV is not bad. These things are not. I'm not going to tell you these are bad. I'd be a total hypocrite because I love both. But just do it for this long a day.
Yeah.
And then it became totally demystified. And the same thing with everything else. Right up including booze and drugs. Really.
Did you have to worry about kind of like online interactions with people and any monitoring of that stuff, or at some point you just trust your kid or don't?
Well, she started playing WoW when she was 12.
Oh, wow.
She used to watch me.
Wow, WoW was around when your daughter was 12.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it was a little scary. And she was only 12 and she actually became a guild leader.
That seems right.
Yeah, but so what happened was there was one day where, and I would go over there and I would watch, every once in a while just to check in, make sure things were cool.
Did you play with her?
I did play with her, but at some point, that's how we started. But then she wanted to be on a different server than me because that's just what they did.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing to play with Dad. So she got onto another server and she, created this. She was like a night elf girl, and she became a guild leader. But she never told the people in the guild how old she was, right? And at some point, they were planning a party in Stormwind City, or Stormwind, about in one of the parks. They were just gonna have a party, and she was in charge of it. And they had the party, and they were drinking whatever I can't even remember now. It's been so long since I played WoW, but there's alcoholic beverages in there. And she came over to me. I was actually in the other room playing WoW on my own server, and she said, "Dad, so." They all don't know that I'm only 12, and they're drinking. Is it okay if I do that? It was
virtually?
It was so cute.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and I told her why don't you just actually not do that?
Really?
I did. I said since you asked, let's just say no. But we talked about why that you shouldn't do that. So, but I was concerned, and actually the first MMO she ever played was Toontown. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, you had to pick.
yeah.
It was really hard to be filthy.
And the great
in
thing
there.
about that was, there were all these filters. So it was impossible, really, to talk to someone who you didn't know. Because for sure, that was a concern.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know. You don't know.
Because there's a time when they understand that it's they understand strangers, and then there's a time that they don't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, by the time they're a teenager, they're pretty savvy.
Yeah.
So what age did the cell phone come in?
Oh, God. Well, we didn't really let her have one until she was in high school. And other parents were way more,
Was it a battle or not really?
Nah, it wasn't really a battle. She was always really mellow about that. I mean, we gave her enough leeway that she knew that, we weren't being draconian all the time.
Yeah.
And she needed to have good reasons to have a phone, not just because your friends have one and you want to fuck off and cost us money.
Right.
These are just the things the fights I see coming up in the future. Everybody else has Google Glasses, and how come I can't have Google Glasses?
The weird good
Yeah.
thing that I think about is
That's awful,
Right?
but you're probably right.
when I was in high school and it was just birth of the internet, and I was on super early, and I was on BBSs,
and you were
stuff.
probably ostracized like hell because of that, right?
I actually feel the internet was worse back then.
Back then?
Yeah, beginning in the internet, there was actually you didn't have Google as
Yeah.
this large level source of your entry gateway. So back then, you still had half the internet being absolutely the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it made 4chan look easy and safe.
So it was really weird, and it was so much easier to get to the bad part of the internet. I felt back then, even though the
think?
bad part
Well,
still exists.
BBS stuff was even worse.
Oh,
than
it was
that.
horrible.
Yeah.
but it was horrible.
But that
So
barrier
much terrible German porn on BBS.
But that barrier to entry was harder, even to get up to onto a
was harder,
BBS.
yeah.
That's true. No,
Yeah, I mean,
But I
that's
think the
actually-
advantage you guys have is and probably most people of this generation is we're all internet versed, right? At the time,
we're not inherently scared of the internet.
When my kid was little, or even when she was in middle school, it was still that transitional people. Other people my age didn't know what some of this shit was. And I remember there was one dad in particular and this was high school, so this wasn't even relatively that long ago, who was saying to me I don't know what this goddamn Facebook thing is, but I know one thing for sure. My daughter's no way is she going on that thing. And what he didn't know was not only was she on it, I was friends with her on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, it's people who learn about the internet from the local news have a real weird
Yeah.
perspective on it, right?
But I'm even still I'm like struggling to keep up with the pace. Like old man Vinny is like, what's this Vines thing? What's it with Snapchat? Is that the,
I signed up for the kid for Snapchat already. We're sending Snapchats to the parents. And
See,
the whole-
that's
no, I'm totally
okay. I was gonna say
kidding.
that seems like the most dangerous thing in the world, and that all came around in 6 months. I saw Vine, Snapchat, and all that stuff. So even trying to keep up with like that stuff,
I post baby videos to Vine.
So what's the
see.
Yeah.
what's the funny part that we all share, and you probably went through first,
Yeah.
is that you have like a record of pretty much everything that you've
Oh,
done
God.
in your
Yeah.
life. Like
Me.
your daily life is,
Yep.
a little bit on there.
But only past maturity. So I'm afraid my kid will, like the kids of this generation will have that record of like from when they were 8, right? Of like
When your daughter
That's kinda
discovers
true.
Hardcore Dave,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like
It's a
those
terrifying
are the funny,
Yeah.
hilarious things that are going to happen.
But like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so the thing I talked about on another podcast too is like my dad has movies of like when he was in the war and stuff like that, and like it's not real. It's not. There is no my dad before I was born, right? That is like me watching these movies of like somebody playing the character of
character?
my dad. Like he's skinny, he's got hair, he's got
'Cause
this
your
great
dad
mustache.
burps at the
Yeah,
diners.
because my dad's like overweight and kind of like does all this stuff. Like the image of my dad. My dad's a little older now, but there is a 20-something Vinny's dad that is. I placed that dad into every stage of my life. Even though when I look at older videos, he's younger. When I think back to like the 2nd or 5th Christmas or something like that, like it's the dad that goes back then. So even when I see those videos, it's almost like when I see videos or movies from the 30s or whatever, it's like, oh, the world really wasn't black and white. Like there's, that's all make believe, and that never really happened back then. So I imagine when kids see that, they're gonna be like, whatever. That movie's
Right.
not in holovision, so like whatever. I can't even relate to that.
Or they'll just
Right.
in some strange way, like Ryan Davis actually raised your child in some bad way.
I'm just gonna put my kid in front of this. It's the entire Giant Bomb video archive. The thing that I do the other way though. I do the thing like I think about like what music from the '60s meant to me, and then I roll back and think what's the equivalent of '60s music for my kid going to be, and it's like. Early '90s, probably like Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses and stuff like if you roll everything back to like what was I listening to when I was in middle school and what was I into and what were the things that and like it's all stuff from my life and
But
it's
you also had to
terrifying.
do so much research to like figure all that stuff out. Like
No, I just went to my
gaining
parents'
access.
I went to my parents' record collection.
That's true. For
And
that
I like
stuff,
I
yeah.
like plopped down the record. I listened to a bunch of terrible Jan and Dean albums before I found that one that was good.
Yeah, but your kid's gonna just hit like random on your iTunes library, and who knows what the hell is gonna pop up? I
yeah.
have like 180,000 songs, right?
Yeah, and I've never yeah, it's all like I took off all the explicit tags and everything.
This is where they're totally lucky, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they could just see or watch anything or hear
know.
anything
but
any fucking time.
That's right.
but that's
it's incredible.
That's scary.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
so
the-
much information.
Yeah, because the thing is, we have to teach them. Well, this is something I've thought about a lot. Is like, how do you? For me, when I went to college and was on my own for the first time, like the freedom that I had at that point was to do what I wanted and to drink as much as I wanted and to eat terrible food
And fail out if
and
you want.
flunk out if I
Yeah.
wanted. Right. We have to teach them how to deal with basically infinite entertainment. Like I like the amount of fun I could have was still limited by the fact that I had $200 a month to spend when I was in college.
Yep.
And like for $7 a month, they can get thousands of movies from Netflix, and you could destroy. You could spend 4 years in college doing that. You could spend 4 years in college playing. I spent most of my college time playing Quake.
No, and I
and,
spent
and that was free. Basically,
I spent my first semester playing. It was like, Ethernet
Yeah.
connection.
Right.
All right, like brand new. Great. I'm gonna play Quake.
Yeah.
My parents are gonna pay whatever this is. I'm gonna play Quake.
Yeah.
And then I flunked out. Like I
Yeah.
was gone within 7 months. Now it turned out to be okay.
Right.
It worked out.
Longer on.
Yeah.
But I was the same. I was a hair's width from flunking
Yeah.
out just because of. And then so my parents were like, "Fuck you, you're paying for college yourself." And so I was like, got the bill, and then got my grades, and was like, "Oh fuck, this is stupid."
Yeah.
And was able to actually eventually graduate and turn around and have. Hey guys, I'm almost done paying off college.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Next year is my last year.
Holy shit.
I might throw a little party, but like it was one of those things of just like totally. The world's at your like go for, and I feel like that's a good thing though.
But there's
I really
a lot
do.
more
yeah,
world
yeah.
now. Like it's much more accessible.
And I don't know. There's something about it where it's just like, how do you parse? That's going to be a big thing for people coming up. Is how do you parse that information? What has value now when you have everything?
But the
right?
great
Yeah.
part too is like education. Like you can self-teach yourself anything.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
true.
Anything.
Yep.
But all right, I don't mean to be a cynic and an old man, but here's the flip side of that.
Old man Vinny.
Do you lose the ability to put the value on like? Do you become the jack of all trades, master of none? Because that's kind of where I am, where it's just like I can do a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electric. I'll just look it up on the internet, but just enough to kind of get me into trouble. Where it's just like if something were to go wrong, I don't have that YouTube video that's for every. I did an apprentice with somebody to be an electrician. I just tore open my wall and got to the third video where the guy's like, "Now flip the switch and it should go on," instead of the part where like, "Now flip the switch and like." there's
but it
no
usually
electrical
goes
part,
on,
I agree
right?
with that, but like everybody has their specialty of whatever that they focus on, and that's normally just their profession.
I pay for electricians, but I do my own plumbing.
I'm just saying you could become whatever profession you want. You could get that starter bit just through the internet. I feel at this
But
point.
maybe it's me. Maybe I
I don't know.
I think Dave's right. I'm with Dave on this.
I get to the point now where I get far enough to realize that I could do it, and then I get bored and I move on to something else.
well,
That's the worry.
Yeah.
like
yeah.
that's the
dilettantes. You don't want to raise a dilettante.
And it's because like I could do something. Why not? I don't know. I could if I spent the time, I could probably do the rest of this. But let's go. Let's see what juggling's about. Like now I start collecting hobbies just based on how much time I think they would take because I know I'll never have that time, that quiet time.
Yeah.
So things like, just for an example.
How's the ham radio? thing
I
going?
was just gonna ask.
Exactly. So it's like I studied long enough, did all the stuff I could to get up to the point where now I need to take the time and go take the test, but now I can't get the time to. Anytime now I leave my wife and say I'm going to go do something that's not work for more than an hour or so, she gives me the look of like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you for real? Like you're going to go on a Saturday? You're going to leave me alone with all week?
I
with the
get that
kid?
for work
Yeah,
stuff
back
too.
on parenting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
for sure. That's a big one.
Yeah. So I think there's a there's a CPR class I wanted to take. And even that was like, and it's like a 6-hour class. And I was like, oh, we both can't go. We're going to sit there 6 hours. I'll tell you what, I'll go. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Saturday? You're going
Yeah.
6 hours Saturday.
Yeah.
All week I'm with the kid.
I got that when I went to have my appendix out.
I got the CPR.
You
class
did this on
in
purpose, didn't you, Will?
Wait, you just because you have a stomach ache, you can't fucking just go lay down when I have the baby, and then you're gonna be in the hospital overnight.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't blame them. I don't.
No,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
they're absolutely
they're
right.
totally right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, dear. I apologize for my medical infirmity, the weakness of flesh.
Yeah, I'd feel bad because I was at Computer Gaming World at the time, and and that was around the time of Quake too, and there was definitely like whole times where we were not working on the magazine at all. It was just, we were just like at a LAN party basically, and but then I'd come home, and she would like, "Here's the baby,"
Yep.
and part of me would go like, "Hey, I've been working all day," and then like, "Oh, actually, I haven't." Nah, when I'm being honest with myself, I was kind of fucking around all day.
Yeah.
It's good. It keeps you honest, right? It's totally like.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I have to say before we wrap up, and it's something I don't think I've actually expressed a lot. Like this whole experience for me, being a new father and kind of talking to new fathers and mothers and parents. Anybody who is out there who's a single parent raising a kid
Oh my
has
God,
to be
yeah.
I can't imagine.
a superhuman.
They are heroes.
Probably one of the most respectful things. Like,
Seriously,
I
no
don't know how you
joke.
do
I
it.
think they're heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really can't imagine.
Sometimes, like when Gina goes and does something, and I'm with the kid all day. By the time she comes back 3 hours later, I'm ready to burst into tears.
Seriously, yeah.
I mean,
it's
it's
not
just,
easy.
It's super intense. I can't
Yeah.
imagine doing it all on yourself and with little or no support.
Yeah.
Because I think Dave, like the thing that I didn't realize that you will realize is like I think we've kind of it never turns off. It is never a moment when you can just
Right.
You get a break, maybe.
even when they're sleeping. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, that's the
you're
part about
monitoring.
like how it changes your life forever, right? Like because even if in like the worst case scenario, like you got divorced, and you moved across the country, you're still a dad. Like you're
Right.
just a dad forever,
Right.
Yeah. And that human being that you brought in the world is your responsibility,
Right.
Unless you're just a shithead, right?
Yeah.
So you
Dirtbag.
So it's my daughter's halfway across the country now, or no, all the way across the country now, and I'm still daily worried about her.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, don't watch Taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anybody
Yeah.
who's out there doing it on your own, man, God
Yeah,
bless.
I know,
That
seriously.
is something else, and I can't even imagine the sacrifices that have to be made to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us. Dave, good luck.
Could be a child pretty soon.
Could be any time
Yeah.
now. You're hard.
You're definitely
window
in the
now.
zone.
You're 4 weeks out. 36?
April 6th. So
Less, 3
So
weeks.
maybe by the next Dadcast.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we might be celebrating the imminent the birth of your child.
It would have been a funny story though. While I was doing this podcast.
Hey,
Yeah, I kept getting text messages. I just ignored them, and then
Quit
turns
bugging
out,
me.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys like this, we'll do it more often, and it may not always be like this. We may do like Google Hangouts or something like that because it's sometimes hard to get people together. And I know Gary wanted to be involved, and we know a bunch of other dads.
They're all over the place.
There
It's
is
spreading.
it turns out it's contagious. So 4 minutes of fun, and then 18 to 30 years after that. So
4 minutes.
we could call it 4 minutes of fun. We need a name.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. What's up with you, Superman?
20 seconds of fun. I don't know. 7. See you guys next time. We'll be back with This Is Only a Test next week. And I guess watch Twitter and stuff. What are we going to call it? Do we have a name?
What?
The show.
Oh, I thought you were asking the kids.
No, I'm not going to ask them
Oh,
ever
why are
again.
you looking at me? He's the
You're the clever
name
one.
person.
Oh, yeah, he is
okay.
the punny one.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole list I think I've been sending you guys.
Yeah, they were real.
They were so good.
real
They
highs and lows.
Oh man.
Dad jeans with
Yeah.
the G.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was good.
We had a couple of good ones. I can't remember. You and I were going back and
Yeah.
forth.
Well,
yeah.
back and forth is generous.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'll get out the IM logs. We'll figure out a name. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time.